deep-rooted conversations, real talk, real roots, real us, souls. Soft rain, no middleman between the truth. I can see it in your eyes, you got it. Pain got your heart moving cautious. Different worlds but the same kind of scars here. Different roads but somehow we still crossed it. Mad cause the world never listened right. Mad cause your truth always turns.
Same soil, different roots. Nolan Wells. Good evening, welcome, take a seat. Another chapter where the silence speaks. Headlines faded, but the questions stayed. Truth still walking through a heavy haze. Every document, every voice we hear brings us hope, then brings more fear. Pieces of a puzzle scattered in the rain. Everybody talking, but who can explain? Some see justice, some see pain. Some see answer, some see blame. When the evidence falls into different hands, the same story becomes different stats. This division is about profit, not truth. Everybody selling certainty before the proof. Louder voices, bigger platforms chasing every view. But a mother's tears don't disappear when the cameras do. This division is about profit, not truth. Turning pain into a headline everyone can use, while the family waits for answers nobody can prove. Lord, don't let us lose the people while we're chasing the news. Autopsy pages tell a piece of the tale. Videos surface, but the questions prevail. Friends keep talking, memories collide, searching every shoreline where the answers hide. Shrimp boat searching through the darkest tide. Hope floating with every wave they try. Different voices, different points of view, but every heart still wants to know what's true. We don't gather here to choose a side. We gather because truth should never hide. Separate the facts from what we believe. Hold on to what we know, question what we receive. Because two people can witness the very same scene. Walk away believing two completely different things. This division is
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Same Soil, Different Roots. Some stories don't end with the headline. When the headlines fade, they evolve. Every new document, every new interview, and every new piece of evidence forces us to ask the same question. Are we getting closer to the truth, or are we simply collecting more perspectives? Tonight, we are revisiting the Nolan Wells story. We'll examine the newly released autopsy findings, review the DA's video, discuss Tatum's interview with one of Nolan's friends, and hear from the Mississippi Shrimp Boat crew that helped search during those critical moments. Our goal tonight isn't to tell you what to think. It is to separate what's confirmed from what's being claimed, identify the questions that have been answered, and just as importantly, recognize the questions that still remain. Because on this show, we understand that two people can look at the same evidence, hear the same interviews, and watch the same videos, yet walk away completely different conclusions. This is why same soil, different roots. We start with the same facts. We ask the hard questions. We respect different perspectives, and we never lose sight of the people at the corner of the story. I am Rain, and I got souls with me, so let's get into it.
Nolan Wells' family releasing the results of their independent autopsy report. 18-year-old Wells died after a July 4th boat trip with friends off the coast of Mississippi. His body was recovered on July 6th, and authorities say they believe he drowned and that there was no indication of a crime. But Wells' family says they have a lot of questions. And the family's attorney now says an independent autopsy found the cause and manner of death to be undetermined, pending more investigation. Let's bring in ABC News chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky and legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer for more. So, Aaron, walk us through Ben Crump's arguments here. Why release these results if they're saying they don't have a result without more investigation?
Because he promised they would, and the family ordered it, and this is an expectation. They want to keep the case in the public eye. They want to add pressure to Mississippi authorities to conduct what they've called a fair and thorough investigation. And here, the independent autopsy does nothing at the moment, seemingly to be at odds with the initial suspicion that Nolan Wells drowned off the coast of Mississippi. And as I think Ben Crump's comments reflect, the circumstances of what led him into the water are still unclear. This independent autopsy can't determine, and state investigators have not released their findings yet. But it's based on more than an autopsy. It's interviews with eyewitnesses and video and image analysis to try and understand what led Nolan Wells to go into the water and what were the circumstances that led to that. And those questions still have not been answered.
Brian, Crump is saying the reason this independent autopsy couldn't determine the manner and cause of death is because the state has not handed over enough to their expert in order to be able to do that. How much pressure does that now put on the state to release their autopsy results and also maybe give the family and this independent expert more to work with here?
How much, I think it might be hard to quantify, but it definitely increases the amount of pressure, because I think while Ben Crump and his team are not providing us with answers in terms of what was the manner of death, what was the cause of death, it at least gives enough to say, okay, this is what's missing for us to be able to do the analysis, because simply having a deceased person or a dead body doesn't give you all the answers. But I think what it does do is he's pinpointing, okay, the throat is a place we need to investigate. Okay, the manner in which his body was found fully clothed, when we see videos of him without a shirt on, that is another point that we need to investigate to further our understanding of this. Because like any medical examiner, they're not just taking the individual's body, they're also taking the circumstances and the information they have surrounding the body to come up with a cause and manner of death. And Ben Crump, I think, is attempting to put pressure on the state and have other people kind of have this unsatisfactory feeling of we need to put pressure on the state so they can get those answers. I think that is part of the motivation here.
And yet, Diane and Brian, the independent autopsy revealed no fractures or deep tissue injuries. And so that does sort of suggest, even if it's not conclusive, that he wasn't beat up. He may not have been thrown overboard. I mean, there are things that this can rule out. There were no gunshot wounds. There were no stab wounds. There was no, it doesn't seem like a violent end, at least before he went into the water. So there's still a lot of questions and a lot of circumstances to understand, but the absence of fractures or deep tissue injuries does seem like a significant point.
But that's not including the throat, which is what Ben Crump is talking about. Yes, the occipital bone, which we can get Dr. Sutton here to do a better job of it, but we're talking about the back of the head here, which you typically talk about, like, did he fall on the boat and hit the back of his head and lose consciousness and that? Yes, absolutely rule that out. But I think what Ben Crump is attempting to do is, here's a piece that is important, the throat, that we don't know. And I don't know if that's going to win him the day, but at least he's trying to apply pressures, I think.
So welcome in, everyone. Great intro from Miss Rain. As always, you guys welcome into Same Soils, Different Roots. This is our version of a little virtual town hall meeting. So we are going to allow individuals to come up tonight if you would like to, as we're talking about each subject. With that being said, we will have time limits so that, we can kind of keep things going and let other people come up as well. But Rain, while we're waiting, what is your thoughts about this after hearing what they just spoke about, hearing that initially the findings that first came back from the sheriff when he said there was no evidence of foul play at the time, And then at that moment, Ben Crump and his team decided to do a independent autopsy where, shout out to Colin Kaepernick and them who helped with the financial part of that. They got the body shipped to DC. And at this time, you can almost say there still is not enough evidence to determine foul play at this time. So what is your thoughts about what's currently going on in the autopsy world?
Unfortunately, because of the days that had passed, the time that it took to get the body up to DC, I kind of had an inkling that it was a possibility that they were going to say it was undetermined. Finding out that some of his internal organs were not sent with him as well was shocking to me, not knowing how autopsies work 100%. But now learning that what goes on behind the scenes, as far as that goes, um, my issue is with that. With that being said, my issue is why not send? I mean, you've already done your biopsies or whatever it is that you need to do with those organs, and you sent the portions off for testing, even though those tests aren't back yet. Why not go ahead and send it with his body to DC? That was my initial question. Um, we know that the longer it goes, the longer a body stays out of refrigeration, the longer the time when he did pass and the time that the DC did receive the body and the time that the doctor did make the medical examiner did make the time to do the actual autopsy there in DC, it was, I feel as though too much time had passed, Um, I don't know if the state is like being negligent or trying to hold up the results from DC by holding on to those critical organs that could be used for a conclusion. I don't know if that's their MO, but somewhere along, or if they could share the findings with DC, say, hey, this is what was found. Maybe you can conclude your autopsy now. I kind of, my personal opinion though, I would have had, I hoped that the private medical examiner's autopsy was not put out before the state's, because I didn't want the state to recant their findings. I didn't want the state to go off of their what DC found. What, I forget what the gentleman's name is, the doctor that did his, but I didn't want the state to be like, "Ooh, they found that. Okay, let's change ours." And I don't know if it's possible to even do that, because I know a lot of records now are electronic and you have to sign them electronically and whatnot. I mean, I know that initially they probably wrote down a lot, but with technology advancing, it's not as um, easily changed anymore. But that's my first thoughts initially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you guys know here, I'm more about fact-based information. Me and Rain have kind of been talking through this throughout the week, so this is not something like we just came up with today. And I want to provide more detailed information that wasn't even read by the Ben Crump team. And I think this is where we're starting to get a lot of divide and division, just due to the lack of facts and people not going to get these documents that are actually out there for you, right? So we're going to play a video in just a second to let you guys know that the organs did come with the body. It's actually on the paperwork, which I'm going to play a video of the young lady who's going to be breaking this down. It's the exact same paperwork that the Ben Crump and them read off of with the Ram Consulting. The body did come accompanying with the organs. The organs were removed in the initial autopsy, which is normal, but they were placed into a bag and put back into the body cavity. And it's on the paperwork. So they did have the organs there. We also know by facts base that Dr. Roger Mitchell, who did the examination in DC, he mentioned that like the throat not being there, things of that nature, is very common in autopsies, right? He actually stated that. You can go read it in the New York Post as well. So those are some of the like big factors, right? I know previously on another platform, I spoke about the things that people need to understand about the systems as well. With Dr. Mitchell Rogers being a forensics pathologist, he could have actually flew to Mississippi and did an independent autopsy right there in Mississippi. So forensic pathologists actually have the right to actually were actually able to go and do those things. So shout out to Classic in the chat. So the biggest thing is making sure that we're getting all the facts just for everybody who would like them. Make sure y'all catch Classic show as well. He's been covering it very in detail, as you see in the chat there. As he mentioned, he said organs came, but they were unable to be used, determined drowning. So what we're initially covering right now, Classic, is some people thought that the organs weren't even there. And a lot of those things weren't actually given. So we're just giving the detailed facts of it. So we're going to actually play this video here that's going to speak a little bit more about it as well, because she actually broke this down as well, because it's on the documentation that talks about the incision that happened and everything that went along with the body as well.
But we all have access to the report, so let's talk about what it actually says versus what you might be seeing in some of these headlines. But before I get into the details of the report, I first want to make sure we're all on the same page. Okay, so anytime someone dies, well, most times, not every time, but anytime a death requires an autopsy, the medical examiner or forensic pathologist for that state performs the official autopsy. They get the body first. And then on top of that, families have the option of hiring their own independent forensic pathologist to do a second autopsy. So that's what happened here. The Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office received Nolan's body first, so they performed the official autopsy. And then Nolan's family, with the help of Colin Kaepernick, requested a second independent autopsy. And that's the report that was released today. And the first thing worth noting from this report has to do with Nolan's organs. So here on the report, under the preliminary findings, the report says a Y-shaped incision of the anterior torso. And a Y-shaped incision looks something like this. Underneath that, it says organs removed. And then underneath that, it says accompanying the body in the body cavity. So in layman's terms, that means that the pathologist from the first autopsy, the one from the Mississippi Medical Examiner's Office, removed Nolan's organs, which is normal to do during an autopsy. And when that pathologist was done with the first autopsy, he put Nolan's organs back in the body cavity, aka back into his body. What they commonly do is put the organs in a bag and then put the bag of organs back into the body. But this report doesn't say if that's what happened or not. So just know his organs in some form or fashion were put back into his body. And when the second pathologist received his body, his organs were there. However, it is important to say that because the organs had been removed during the first autopsy, it did affect the ability of the second pathologist to do a full examination. For example, the report explains that the second pathologist wasn't able to see Nolan's organs in the original state they were in when his body was found. And again, that's because the first pathologist removed them and then put them back. So the second pathologist couldn't observe Nolan's airways and lungs to determine if water was present in them. And he also wasn't able to examine Nolan's stomach to see if there was something there that could have contributed to his death. So he's not saying that this is suspicious or that the first pathologist did something wrong. He is simply saying he couldn't do his full examination really because he was second in line. Okay, now let's move on to the second.
So we're going to stop there. So shout out to her as well. She finally got her YouTube page up. Normally you see her on TikTok, but now she's fully up on YouTube. So shout out to her.
I'm not really a lawyer.
Yeah. That was her. So the biggest thing for us today for the town hall virtual thing that we're doing tonight is more just to also educate people as well. I think everybody is following the case as closely as they would like as well. But I also feel like there's a lot of information that's being put out there. And I think sometimes we have to wonder too, why aren't these things presented to us from the beginning? And what I mean by that is, when a body is transferred from state to state, it still comes with a chain of custody as well. Every pathologist or whoever the specialist is, they know what's coming. Like you know what you're receiving. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest thing is like, I'm sure that this pathologist, Mr. Dr. Mitchell, knew that due to the first examination, having the organs removed, that he wasn't going to be able to give you that information. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this isn't people's first rodeo. And that's why I'm always telling people that I think we need to make sure that everybody still is getting all the full information, not just trying to like get people up in an uproar. I do agree that Mississippi needs to be more transparent with the examination. And that's why when I did my research, I was very curious why he didn't want to go to Mississippi. And it could be a lot of reasons, right? But again, forensic pathologists are able to travel when they're a forensics pathologist. So to go there and just kind of get the answers you need right up front, just so that people can have a better understanding of what's going on, and that you can have that conversation from pathologist to pathologist. But again, shout out to the Kaepernick and them from actually, using the money and getting the body there to get the examination done. After further watching a lot of the stuff, I'm starting to realize I think that's why they chose Ben Crump, just due to the ability that Ben Crump has to like move certain needles, right? To get things done that maybe another person wouldn't be able to get done and things of that nature. So shout out to the team. I mean, they're doing the best they can, but I also want to make sure that when we're giving information on the platforms as well, that we're fully transparent, right? Like we need to make sure that if somebody's listening to this for the first time, that they understand what all this looks like. They understand what all the information actually is, and not just trying to cause an uproar, because it's already out there. Like the uproar is there. You know what I mean? So tonight we're trying to cover like, okay, what are some things that we all need to know? What are some things that in the future, when the next incident happened, that we can be fully aware of what needs to happen? How should we fight these fights as well moving forward? So those are the biggest things. Did you have anything else before we play the video from Nancy Grace?
No, only in doing all this, we just offer prayers to the Wells and Wansley family. Hopefully they'll get some closure soon. That's it.
I agree. I definitely agree. So we're going to be moving on to showing the next video is going to be Nancy Grace. She actually brought the pathologist from the great state of Texas here in the DFW. He's known for a lot of cases, and he's going to talk more about the red blemishes that people heard about, or some people may have seen on the during the autopsy review from the Ben Crump team and things of that nature. So he's going to talk a little bit more about where that could possibly come from. Again, no one's ruling out foul play. I think from like the outside standpoint, just because we're not getting that information that they're saying that it's not any, we don't know that. We still don't know. So I'm not here to play judge or jury, but I do think it's very, very important that everybody understands the full scope of everything that's actually going on around them as well. So here's Miss Nancy Grace, who pretty much came back out of nowhere, man. She's taking the internet by storm as well. I mean, she's getting like over 1 million views per video. She's doing her thing. So Nancy Grace brings the expert in from the actual DFW area, who's done a lot of pathology. I mean, autopsies and things of that nature. So here we go.
Deep red. I'm talking about, was there a blow to the back of the head? Did he fall off a boat? Did he hit his head on something else? If it turns out he drowned, how did he get in the water? Why was he in the water? Why did everybody leave him? Lots of questions tonight. But if he was found face down, the blood would not have settled to the back of his occipital.
Well, that's correct at the initial autopsy, but he was also transported to Washington, D.C. on his back, I assume, not on his face. And so after death, you can still have pooling of the blood in the dependent areas if the lividity is not fixed Or even if it is fixed, you can have pooling. So it is difficult to say without seeing the actual reddened area in the deep soft tissue, whether this is just a decompositional artifact or if it's indeed blunt force trauma. Now, they're not describing any injuries to the skin surface, which would still be there if he was, even if he's decomposed, you would still see injuries, abrasions, bruises, lacerations, things of that nature, even with decomposition. So it's difficult to give significance to this deep red area in the musculature of the deep soft tissues of the back of the head without further photographs or more information. To me, could it be blunt force trauma? Yes. Could it be a decompositional artifact? Yes. Could it be something from transport? Yes. Hard to say at this point.
Okay, hold on. Let me just take each one of those. And the rest of the panel, please, if you've got a question or a point, jump in. We need all of your brain power. Oh, that's an open invitation to Mobley to jump in. But 3 things you said, that there could still be pooling of the blood. And I don't want to be too DEFCON 4 into this and get lost in the weeds, but Nolan is dead. He's already been autopsied. Days have passed, and you're telling me that the blood could still sift down from the front of his face to the back of his neck in one specific area. Why wasn't it pulling all the way down his neck? Or why just that one area? I don't believe that when you have been deceased that long, you've already undergone autopsy, they've drained the blood from your body, that somehow in the few hours of transport, you're going to get.
And just to be transparent with people, Nancy Grace does a lot of acting. She will ask a lot of questions that she does know the answer to, but she's asking things that probably the public would like to know. So she's very dramatic in that manner, but she's trying to get answers for those who will want to have answers for these questions that they probably not feel comfortable asking. So.
Pooling of the blood to one area in the back of your neck.
So first off, it's not a few hours of transport. It's from whenever the autopsy ended. He's placed on his back. Whenever he's picked up at the scene, he's been placed on his back. So all that comes into play. They don't drain all the blood from the body at autopsy. There's still blood in the body after autopsy. And also decomposition causes the breakdown of tissues, including musculature, which can give a reddish decoloration from the actual decomposition process of the muscle. So all these have to be considered when you're saying a reddened area, because the doctor didn't call it hemorrhage, which is interesting to me. He called it a reddened area. So I don't know what he's describing.
And that stood out to me too. So shout out to Dr. Roger Mitchell. He didn't try to like exaggerate anything. He didn't try to like assume anything. I think that doctor almost didn't even know. He gave him a little shout out because, like you said, he was surprised that he didn't use certain terminology. But I think that shows his history of working in DC in the metropolitan area, of understanding, hey, we need to give people the best information possible and not try to get people too in a uproar, things of that. So shout out to Dr.
I would love to see pictures, but again, there's no description of a bruise or an abrasion or a laceration on the skin surface of the back of the head. So what the significance of this is? Could it be a decompositional change? Could it be something else like blunt force injury? It's hard to say at this point in time.
I find it very difficult to believe, Dr. Kendall Crowns, that not one, but 2 medical examiners cannot figure out why he had deep red subcutaneous markings. Subcutaneous, what is that? Deep subcutaneous, what is that?
It's underneath the skin, meaning in the fat or the muscle underneath the skin.
Okay. Straight out to John Mobley joining me out of Charleston. He's a renowned trial attorney, founded John Mobley Law Firm. Okay, Mobley, have at it.
Well, Nancy, I got to call it like I see it. There are a lot of things that I don't like about this presentation. I think the first problem I see is they put out this autopsy and they kind of gave you a lot of sizzle. They gave a big dog and pony show, but they didn't really make it clear on the findings and conclusions and how they could be interpreted. And I think that's kind of the problem with this case. They put all this stuff out.
So we're going to stop there first. So this is one of the things that we just recently talked about with myself and Rain when we first started the show. This town hall is mostly just to educate and give people information on how things look and how other specialists, doctors, attorneys are looking at things. I think sometimes I feel that, again, I'm going to say it very black and white. I feel Mississippi knows what they're doing. They should have been more transparent. I'm not here to fight that back. I feel like Mississippi should have been very more transparent, but I also feel that people are able to play these games with us due to these reasons, right? Due to us not knowing technically what's going on, how things are moving. We're trying to take in the information in certain manners and things of that nature. And that's what we're really here for, is to like break down everything that has been going on from the start, but just trying to find a way to educate the masses as well about what's going on, how it looks to other specialists, other people who have done this, attorneys, pathologists, all that. I think they understand a little bit more. And even to hear this gentleman's frustration at like, this is what everybody's doing, right? Not just Mississippi. Some people are now feeling like Ben Crump and them are doing the same thing, right? You're getting us excited, but then we get let back down because we don't feel like we're moving anywhere. We don't feel like the needle is moving. You have anything on that, Rain, before we start back with the attorney?
I understand the initial reason for the press conference with Ben Crump and the family and whatnot. Should they have laid it out a little bit better than what they did? Absolutely. Ben Crump needed some help interpreting that autopsy. No shade given. No shade given. No shade. All right. I'm just personal opinion. He needed some help on interpreting and interpreting it for the audience, the family, and everybody there, so they could understand it correctly. You know, we heard the shouts and the other things that were going on in the background. Why? Because it was shocking. It was very shocking the way he was reading it, and I understand he wanted. Ben Crump wanted to be transparent. He wanted to be so transparent. He wanted to put it out there as is. But I think it would have done better received if he would have laid it out a little bit better for the common folk that don't understand medical terminology and whatnot. Read what's on the autopsy in that form, and then tell, for the common folk, layman's terms, what's really going on. People who don't understand that medical language all the time. So I do agree with this gentleman here. I'm not gonna call it a dog and pony show, but
yeah.
But the public has been pressing for this. I feel as though, and with all this technology and information that we have at our fingertips these days, it kind of hinders investigations like this, because everybody's putting their 2 cents in. Everybody's coming up with their own narrative of what happened. Everybody's trying to be that investigator and not letting the authorities do what they need to do. And I'm not saying that I feel as though Mississippi is doing what they need to do. I don't. I think they're being nonchalant about it. I've said that from the beginning. Yes, I think a private investigator should have came in and done some things for the family on their behalf. But as far as, and like I said, I do believe Mississippi has been nonchalant about the whole investigation. I've said that from the beginning. As a mother, I've said that from the beginning too. So, but yeah, it's tough.
There, all these legal terms, all this, forensic jargon, and now everybody's whipped up in a frenzy trying to understand what it means, exactly, speculating, guessing, and the reality of it is, unless you're an expert, a forensic expert, none of us are qualified to interpret those findings. Now, I've been involved in countless homicide cases where I've had to look at forensic autopsies and discuss the findings with experts. And that's what you have to do. And ultimately what it comes down to is they put this thing out there, this preliminary autopsy finding, and they did not present any real conclusions. And that is a problem. And to address your specific concern, Nancy, about
Put up Mobley. Listen, I'm not vouching for the character of Crump or Sharpton. That said, of course, are you saying they were wrong not to put it out there? I think they were right to put it out there, whether it's inconclusive or not.
The manner in which they presented
Okay, what do you mean by that?
He just sat there and read it. And number one, I don't think he was the best person to read it. He's just kind of reading off medical terms that he didn't do the best job of pronouncing. And they didn't really present a conclusive finding. And what that does is...
Well, there is no conclusive finding, Mobley.
Well, he should have said that, because what he does, though, in the manner in which it's presented, when you take a case like this, you take little bits and pieces and put them out there in that manner, what you're doing is you're feeding these conspiracy theories like, oh my God, there's some big mystery, some conspiracy about what happened, regarding saying, hey, here's the deal. In situations like this, based on the rate of decomposition, things like that.
Don't you get it, man? We still don't have the answer. I don't have the answer. He's got a red mark deep in subcutaneous tissue on the back of his head. Wait,
here's the
go back to Kendall Krause real quick.
I will address that.
And again, guys, since we're talking about transparency, do not get confused with what Nancy Grace is doing. Again, I want to put that out there. Nancy Grace she's a great actor. She understands what she's doing. She's being an antagonist to get a conversation going, because she knows this gentleman. They know how to have this conversation. So just be aware of that. We're going to be transparent with you too. Trust me, if you watch all her content, you'll see. So this is what she does. So don't get confused. Don't think she's asking these questions because she doesn't know. Again, she's acting.
Wait. Kendall, where's Kendall? Why am I not seeing Kendall? Kendall, please turn around and show everybody what we're talking about, because I'm doing this. Show me occipital.
Occipital's right here. Back ahead.
How
right where your neck
in the world, out of his whole body, is that where the blood pools? I'm not buying it. And I'm not saying this is a homicide. I am saying it. There are a lot of disturbing circumstances surrounding this young man, the star athlete's death, and I am not letting it go.
So I'm going to stop it there, because I think that's where 90% of people are.
Yeah.
It's where Nancy Grace just ended right there, right? A lot of people are like, hey, we just lost a young man named Nolan Wells. Nobody acts like they know what's going on. We need some answers now. Mississippi's not giving us answers. Ben Crump, I know why you're coming out, but we're still not getting the answers at the end of the day. And so for everybody who's in that middle ground of like, okay, we now need answers, right? We're going to talk a lot more tonight about some of the friends who came out and talked. We're going to actually have some people who we're going to review some videos of the people who actually was there, part of the rescue mission, things of that nature. With that being said, anyone is able to come up. We have the link in the chat. You are free to come up if you want to come, give your opinion about the case, or if you might have something to say. Myself and Rain are not here to debate with you. We're here for you to be able to spread your opinion out there, good, bad, or indifferent, and be able to speak and get your point across. I think the biggest thing is just making sure that we all are able to get our voices out there, but at the same time, we need to now, I think we all need to demand more transparency from everyone. I think every room that we walk in, every article that's put out, every interview that's done that we're going to talk about, even with Officer Tatum, everybody needs to say the right things or don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
Because at this point, it's not helping anything. It's just causing a bigger wedge, and everyone's getting confused. So shout out to everybody again. Super chats will be read. Appreciate y'all in the comments. Make sure that you guys like, subscribe to the channel as well while you're here. Again, thank you guys for joining us tonight. I know it's going into a new day, so I appreciate everybody who's here currently watching. Do you have anything else for the Nancy Grace portion there, Rain?
No. I didn't want to come on here with not with no words, but I mean with the doctor on here explaining that the blood can pool in certain places after the fact, even during transportation. I mean, we have to look at it. There days passed. Before, I don't even know when the actual, did they say when the actual the DC exam
Yeah, it was on the
had,
paper. Yeah, it was July the 10th.
July the 10th.
Hmm.
So that's
I think it was 4 days out the original one, right? I think the original one was either done on the 6th or 7th, if I'm not mistaken.
mhm. So still, that's a lot of time in between that. And with the me being, I'm not a medical person, okay, but me just thinking logically, when a heart stops, the blood's no longer circulating within your body, so the blood will pool. And I'm not saying that there was no um injury to the back of the head. I'm not saying there was no injury around his neck or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that me knowing that when the heart stops, the circulation stops, so the blood is gonna pool wherever it is at that time. And maybe because it's different back there, I don't know, but that's just my personal opinion on that part.
And I think most important, and like I said, thank you, Mike, for the respect too. Definitely all prayers to the Nolan Wells family, because I think that's the biggest thing now.
Mhm.
And that's why me and Rain decided to talk about this tonight. We didn't want to jump on it early. Wanted to actually talk about it once more and more information came out, just so that we're not assuming things or getting people up in an uproar. We just wanted to be able to discuss the facts that we currently have and be
Yeah.
able to educate those from any new information. Appreciate you, Mike. Mike said, new to the show, new subscriber. Appreciate you, big
Appreciate you,
dog.
Mike. Yeah.
Appreciate you. So again, y'all, the chats are not the chat, but the link is in the description if anybody wants to come up and speak as well. While they're trickling in, we can read some of these. Patsy said, I watched the show when Crump read the results. He definitely shouldn't have read it unless he had someone to explain what the results would mean.
Yeah.
Very true. Very, very true. And I think that's what makes these type of cases very difficult, right? I know sometimes I get criticized from being a person who is based more on the facts. Like I'm more of a black and white person, so people judge that. But that's why I'm the way I am. I like to really get the information, understand what I'm reading. Kind of like Nancy Grace talked about, right? The things I didn't know, I went and researched myself.
Yeah.
The questions I had for myself, I went and researched. Like, okay, could he said, I think so too, Classic. I'm not gonna lie to you. Rain sent me over that audio. I had to listen to it about 20 times. But
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you there. I definitely agree with you there. And I said this at the very beginning before we even talked about this. I said there is a good possibility that there could be some possible foul play. I just don't always think that our alleged offender of choice is probably who we think it is. I think it's going to be very unique once it comes out, but most definitely, I definitely agree with that.
Before we move on, I'll tell you what I noticed too.
Mhm.
There's a picture of Warren with a young lady. Do we know if that's Katie or not? And it looks like to be a prom outfit. I haven't talked to you about this at all, but I noticed it today when I was just going through different videos. Is that pause the calls? I'm gonna do a little bit of research.
No problem.
To the next thing.
And again, guys, don't forget the link is in the chat if you need me to drop it again. Definitely, you are welcome to come up again. I think me and Rain decided on like 2 minutes apiece for those who come up, just so you can say your piece as well. Class said there is such thing as appropriate bias. Black people turning up dead in Mississippi is a time for appropriate bias. No benefit of the doubt. I feel you. I feel you. Like I said, I've been watching in the background. You've been covering it very well. For those who are here watching, make sure you catch Classic Codes, man. He's following it very, 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 very closely. So you can go on there and get a lot of the information. And thank you to you guys who are watching tonight. While Rain is looking that up, we're gonna move on to the next portion as well. We're gonna be a lot of people was asking the DA to speak out. They finally spoke up. It was a very well manicured speech. I know some people did not like it. Some people felt a certain way about it. But we're going to hear what the DA had to say, and then we'll discuss it again. Welcome in, everyone. Make sure, if you would like, there is a link in the chat. If you don't see it, I can place it in there again. If you would like to come up, we are giving people 2 minutes to speak, say whatever they like to say, or you can just put it into the chat. Once the chat gets busy, we won't be able to read every chat, but we can read super chats as well. So here we go.
As District Attorney for the 19th Circuit Court District of Mississippi, I want to talk directly to the people of Jackson County. Our community is grieving the tremendous loss of Nolan Wells, who is loved and treasured by everyone. Nolan's family deserves answers, and our community deserves answers. Every death in the county, except those of natural causes and non-criminal car wrecks, are presented to your grand jury. Many people don't know that. We have handled death investigations in this manner my entire career. Nolan's case is being handled the same way, with the same care and the same commitment to the truth that we handle all death investigations. I understand the public's urgency to know what happened to Nolan, but we are not taking time for time's sake. We are taking the time required to complete the work this investigation demands. Since Nolan was reported missing, local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies have worked around the clock investigating what happened to him. Every piece of evidence must be examined. Every credible lead must be followed to its conclusion. Every witness interview must be analyzed in context of all other evidence. The pressure for answers does not change what the work requires. Our responsibility to Nolan and our community is to complete this investigation thoroughly, carefully, without compromise, supported by the evidence and worthy of the confidence of the people we serve. I also understand that many people have questions about why more information has not been released publicly. In Mississippi, the rules of professional conduct restrict the information a prosecutor can release during an investigation. Our restraint in communicating facts and evidence is not an effort to keep the truth from the public. It is an effort to protect the integrity of this investigation and the grand jury proceeding. As your district attorney, I have an ethical obligation to avoid public statements that could influence witnesses, prejudice a proceeding, or compromise the fairness of the legal process. My obligation extends to and requires me to use reasonable care to ensure investigating agencies avoid making those statements and releasing information as well. These rules exist to protect the search for the truth, not to prevent it. As divided as the discussion surrounding Nolan's death has become, I know we all want the same thing, to understand what happened to Nolan. With that being our shared goal, we must also share in the goal of protecting the integrity of how the truth is discovered. If we sacrifice the integrity of the process in effort to satisfy today's questions, we risk undermining the confidence in tomorrow's answers. When the public asks, what about this, or have they looked at that, or did they think about this? The answer is yes. Those are the same questions investigators ask. The difference is that we can't publicly discuss the evidence, the interviews, or what those efforts have uncovered while the investigation is underway. Again, our restraint in sharing details of the investigation is not a refusal to share the truth. It is our commitment to protect the process that allows the truth to be known with confidence. There's a lot of information out there, and there is a heck of a lot of misinformation out there. I simply want the community I serve to know that this investigation is being handled with the care, professionalism, and commitment to the truth that every family in Jackson County deserves. As we continue this important work, Nolan's family, his friends, and all who loved him remain in our prayers.
So there you have it. You had the DA there. He said, "I like this proper today, right?" Yeah, it was. She was beaming the other day.
Thank you,
Um,
Stacey.
so the Mississippi DA spoke out.
Mhm.
As I said before, you can tell this was very manicured, right? This was something somebody wrote for her.
Scripted.
I do want to say this as well because we have to see things from both sides as well, right? Um, it can be fake, but this is also what people do. This happens every day with news channels. This happens every day with anything that people are trying to like cover. I
Yeah.
seen a lot of this when I was serving in the military. Like
Mhm.
when I was in deployed locations watching people die in Iraq, the way that they were televising this to y'all on TV was just like that. It was very manicured, just like the Marines and the people we just lost. That they come out very manicured, right? They come out and say the right things because a lot of these people trying to keep their livelihood, they're trying to keep their job. So they just become more of the system as well. So I just want to put that out there that I understand that this is very manicured. This is something that not what you want to hear as a parent. I'm thinking more about like the Wells family at this moment, right? That's not what I don't want to. That's not what I would want to see as a parent. I would want to see some accountability first of like, hey, we need to apologize for the sheriff speaking out on our behalf first. Like those are the type of things I would be looking for in the speech. But it wasn't there. So again, tonight is all about you guys sharing your opinions on what you think. And so Rain, what you thought about that?
Of course, very manicured. She said what she needed to say. She said it was expected that she says that let us do our investigation. We'll report back to you with the findings once it's concluded. Type deal. It was expected. Um, I don't think that. I would hope to think that she didn't think that this would silence people or this would make people pull back from what they had been doing or wanting answers and whatnot. Is she the state DA or is it the county that they're in? Do you know?
Let me check for her. I don't want to give you bad information. I want to say she's over the state. She's the Mississippi District Attorney. Yep. Yeah, so she's the DA.
My hope would be for an outside judicial system to take on this, but it,
Yeah,
outside of Mississippi.
So and shout out to Miss Passy. She says she appreciate how you two are how we're discussing the matter. We do need to stop listening to a bunch of the other people on the air because they're just doing it for clicks. Yeah, we're just here to provide the information that's being presented. Again, we're not here to debate. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. That's fine. But the biggest thing now is I'm starting to look at this all as I need to see someone doing something that moves the needle for the family
Yeah.
on both sides,
Hmm.
not just one sided. I need to, and I know there might be things that have been Crump and them hands tied, but just trying to move forward. Um, I would like to see Ben Crump and them sit down with some of these people that we're about to review with Officer Tatum. I would like to see them get a different set of questions. So I would like to just see both sides kind of doing the same thing. I know Officer Tatum even showed receipts of them sending information, sending emails to Benjamin Crump and the team about doing an interview, sitting down, having a cordial conversation about this so that people could get both sides. Again, it's one of those things. Everybody's doing everything for a rhyme or a reason, and that's the sad part. But the biggest thing is just thinking about the Wells family. How do we move the needle forward for them, right? Because every game that either the DA plays or every game that other sides play, it hurts the family at this point. And my biggest thing is the worst thing I seen or heard throughout the whole thing was when it immediately was heading to a grand jury. That's what got me because I talked about this as well. Like the grand jury to me just provides too much secrecy. Like it's too much that people can start asking for plea deals. People can start. It's just a lot when it comes to like grand juries that can actually cause a lot more integrity issues that we're already dealing with the state of Mississippi. So I definitely agree. Again, guys, we do have the link in the chat for those who would like to come up. We're giving people 2 minutes to say whatever they would like to say as well. But I do agree with that, Classic. I do agree with that. I do agree with whoever did it. They need to play the time. Hey, and I feel everybody that's playing with the system as well, giving their stories. I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. Brandy said with the history she has with under delivering where DA is concerned with the grand jury hoax, is kind of impossible to trust her. I understand that. I understand that as well. I understand. Yeah.
Where that can be, I can see people's concern and where that can be an issue. That's why I wish somehow an outside judicial system outside of Mississippi can handle it. But I don't know. I really don't know the laws and how that can go, or if it can even go a different way in that manner. We do know that some of the children or young adults. I keep calling them kids because they're so young. We know that some of the young adults, parents acquaintances and whatnot have ties to the judicial system. They're judges or they know lawyers and whatnot. They know what they need to do in order to keep themselves out of trouble for the most part, or so it's really hard to even trust a local system there for them to be thorough and do what they need to do and not just sweep it up under the rug. I've said it from day one. I thought the sheriff was just nonchalant with it. Oh, we're doing what we need to do. No, you're not. I don't think he was ever detailed and giving information at all.
Yeah.
At least to the public, he wasn't. And if I'm not mistaken, Christine, she didn't get good information from them as well.
Yeah.
I believe sooner or later that it's gonna eat them alive, and somebody's gonna say something. You can only live with that for so long, and I don't know, because some people take things to their grave, but
nah, they already kind of talking over themselves right now with some of these interviews. Like if you really pay attention to them, like you can even see some of the. Again, I'm not going to be here to be biased. I seen some interviews that Officer Tatum did where he kind of changed the questioning, like
because he knew where he was going with it, so he changed his stuff.
Yeah, like for the new people who are in here watching, my education and my background is mental health, so I'm watching like the nonverbal behaviors, things of that nature as people are talking, and if you see the difference in tone and their personalities for each interview, right? Interview number 1 with Warren, he felt very comfortable talking. They went out to
and confident too.
Yeah, they went out
and everything. He just seemed so. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, no, I was talking over you. I got excited then, so I'm sorry. Finish what you said.
No. So like that's the biggest thing when they go out, like, and then when they went out to Horn Island, you seen them get even more animated. Got very animated with the shades on. Felt like he was probably felt hidden to the world, but you're still on camera. And then when they got back to the sofa, he was really nervous. Like you could see he started kind of like, so I'm very aware, like I'm watching what's going on. I do agree with what Classic was saying, that I think somebody will eventually talk just because they will slip up because they're talking too much. For those who were playing the game, the best thing that they were doing was being quiet. So like it's just one of those things. But again, we'll see. We're gonna actually cover some of that tonight with Officer Tatum and the next gentleman, the other friend. What did you say his name was, Rain?
Is it Tristan?
Tristan. So we'll be discussing him tonight. Mike said, with so little factual evidence of what happened to Nolan, it makes your mind wonder on what could have happened from A to Z. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And I think that's the most dangerous thing, right? Like that's the biggest thing in my opinion. Brandy Joe said, well, the audio background was enhanced and the things that was said implies that he was unalived in the boat during the call for the tow. Yeah, me and Rain are going to cover that. We're definitely going to cover that. So Classic says, Souls, why do you feel the need to be neutral regardless of how fudged up it is? I have to know why play it. I'm not playing it down. This is what I want to articulate to people. When it comes from souls, I have my own feelings about things, but I still feel, Classic, that, man, we still got to let people know how to play the game, bro. Like I know that doesn't sound good to people, man, but they're doing it right in front of our face, dog. The foul play, everything that possibly could be going on, it doesn't, like, they're doing the things that everybody else just seems like they're 10 steps behind. Like, literally, I remember the first show that I think you talked about it first, Classic. The first thing I said was somebody needs to go look up who Warren Mama is. It was the first thing I said. It was the first thing I said. Just like trying to get people to understand, like, the game is going to be started, and how far behind the game are you going to be? You know what I mean? So, but I understand a lot of people not going to like my way of doing it, and that's okay. That's why everybody has platforms, everybody able to give their way they like to articulate it, and that's fine. So, and I appreciate everybody giving their opinions as well. So I don't think we really want understanding, Classic, because even when I try to articulate to people, not you, Classic, even other people still have their own personal thought process behind it. So, like, but shout out to everybody who's in here. So make sure y'all hit that like button, make sure you subscribe. So he said we need to push people to break the console and not play the game. I feel you. Too Tight said, what I seen, it was messed up how they did him and all them people just standing around watching. We'll get to it. Like I said, me and Rain are going to cover. She sent it over to me today as well. So we'll definitely review it and do that. So let's see here. Brandon said their blatant disrespect to the fam in public is crazy. And Brandy just, and that's what I think. But I think both sides have their own form of disrespect or playing in front of the family. So it's just one of those things. What's up, Richard? Welcome in, Richard. Richard said, not even the kid playing with the phone. Yeah. So again, man, you got anything on that, Rain, at all for the DA? Like I said, it was very manicured. It was very set up for her, which, that's what they do. So
yeah, I think they did it to pacify the public a little bit longer while they get everything together with their findings and whatnot. I think that's what I think they delivered what they thought the public wanted. But the public doesn't want that. The public wants a final answer about what happened or what truly happened that day. So yeah, it's okay. We still not satisfied type deal, you know. So.
And again, the link is in the chat for those who want to come up and say anything about any of the topics or anything that you might felt a certain way about. Again, we are going to give 2 minutes to whoever would like to come up. Again, this is an open segment for anybody to come up, calling it like a little town hall, just to see where everybody are. I'll probably get with Rain like after this to see like how often we want to tap back into this each part of the week. But so let's see here. He said Rain hair looking spiffy.
Thank you.
So yeah. So let's see here. So we're gonna move on to the next segment in this discussion today. And that's going to be Officer Tatum sitting down with, what's the gentleman name you said it was, Rain?
Is it Tristan?
Tristan? Okay.
I think that's, yeah.
So
if I'm wrong, y'all forgive me, but I think it's Tristan. Did he not say what his name was in the
I don't know. That's why I said I'm gonna have to hear it at the beginning.
Yeah.
I didn't recall hearing it, and but I was working out when I was listening to it, so I could have just overheard it. But we're gonna go through this interview here. And Rain, if you need me to stop, just like raise your hand or say something, and we'll stop you wherever you want. But we're gonna listen to them talk about what happened. Just to give you guys a little background from, he's supposed to have been one of the gentlemen who was fighting on Horn Island. So he's gonna talk about it. So here we go. Brandy said, "What? Yes, Rain. They gave us what they used to give in their county, not realizing this is unfolding in front of the world." I can see that. I can see that. Oh, Trayson, I believe is his name. Okay, bet. So here we go, y'all.
You had an interview, and I felt like you laid out a few things that I think the world needs to know and be clear about.
Okay.
And the first one is the relationship that you had with Nolan. Can you explain your relationship with Nolan?
Yeah, I will. So his mom got on TV, as everybody has seen, and said that she didn't know me. And man, that can't be farther from the truth. Me and Nolan, I met Nolan in 9th grade in a second block class. It was math. He was one of the first guys I made friends with. It was somebody I made a connection to. Like off rip, he was an athlete. I could tell he was an athlete when I walked into class. We sat really close to each other, and all he did, he turned around and asked me for a pencil when I first met him in 9th grade when I moved to Ocean Springs. Man, it was tough, and the relationship there has always been best friend in my eyes. I never wanted to take away how close somebody else was with Nolan, but Nolan was my best friend. That was a guy I knew I could call at any point in time. He called me at 11 o'clock on the 4th to see where I was parked at. Man, me and Nolan have countless nights of him giving me advice on my girlfriend, on my life in general. Nolan has been the only friend, and I love my friends and my best friend in this group of guys, but Nolan has been the only person that ever told me, like, he's proud of what I've done. He's proud of how hard I worked. He's proud of me going overseas to go play ball. That was my guy. Like, that was my best friend.
Yeah, and so how does it make you feel when the media, activists are coming out and alluding to the fact that you may have something to do with what happened to Nolan on that day?
Man, that hurts. It hurts is an understatement. I beat myself up every night I lay down. Beat myself up anytime it crosses my mind. Because in my head, if I wasn't drinking, if I didn't get into that altercation, maybe I would be able to do something. Maybe I would have saw something. Maybe I would have told Nolan, hey, man, you're not going with that girl. Just come back with us. We're going back a little bit later. We can go meet up with the guys later. Maybe it just plays out different. And then the fact that they're going to play that is I'm already trying to mourn my friend's death as is, and I'm blaming myself for it. To put that in my head is a next level of hurt that can't be truly explained. Because it's hard to put into words. Generally, it's backstabbing from a sense of a community that I thought I had with my skin color, and they stay so strong together. And I'm supposed to be one of them, but I come up and I speak, and now I'm the person to blame. Now I'm not dark enough for them. I'm not black enough for them, and now I'm the issue. It doesn't make sense in my head. It doesn't make sense.
Was Nolan? I mean, obviously you were in a friend group, but the way the media makes it seem is that almost as if Nolan was the only black person in this whole friend group. Now they don't even mention you. They don't bring you up in this whole thing when it comes to what happened at Horn Island. So what's your take on Nolan being presented as like the only black kid in a group of all these white boys?
So I want to stop there. This is one of the areas where I say Officer Tatum wasn't being very transparent. He was making up his own. No one never said that Nolan was the only black boy at the beach. Like those are things that are just clear facts. It's just that those things we know don't make sense, right? We know. And even in this moment, right? This is why I tell people you need to be able to articulate as well, because he seems like he has a lot of hate as well with how people feel about him, things of that nature. And you have to understand, people are going to have their thoughts about you, their opinions about you, and you got to let people have those opinions. With that being said, I thought it was very disrespectful for him to call out Nolan's mother. Like, I thought that was very disrespectful. This conversation, Nolan's mom has nothing to do with any of this. Outside of what you want to say, you called them or things like that. But outside of that, like her not knowing you, or hey, if she says she didn't know you, big dog. Like, I know there's people that I probably call homeboys back in the day that my mama and daddy would have said, I don't know who that is, or they didn't remember them because they weren't around too long. You know what I mean? Like, so that is normal for a parent to feel like, hey, I don't know him. You know, knowing somebody means you know them, right? Just because, you know, somebody comes through your house and get a drink of water, stopping in with your son after football practice, don't mean you know him. You know what I mean? So I'm very abreast to that as well. And then prayers to Miss Patsy. Sorry to hear about your son as well, ma'am. Passing away 3 months ago. That is very prayers to you, like Brandy said. We appreciate that. So he said we don't know Trey son, who you gave. So yeah, like, so because I mean Officer Tatum kind of upset me more than anything throughout these interviews. That's why I didn't cover him like I was like, he really ain't do justice of what he's trying to do. To me, he's playing the same game that he's attempting to say Ben Crump and them are playing at this point. Like, you're not really getting to the meat and potatoes of this, you know. But he does seem very closed off for sure. Very angry. Is that familiar ties or family ties, resources and strategies used in an attempt to hide or delay the truth? Tatum isn't the one to necessarily be the voice. Understand.
Yeah.
Understand that. Anything so far, Rain? Go ahead.
Yeah, I question him being the best friend. How can you say, oh, I really didn't know his mother, but y'all are claiming best friend? He was your best friend. Unless, and this is just me thinking, unless, and this is my personal opinion, so unless the mama didn't care who he hung around, or didn't, wasn't in his business and who he hung around all the time. When I was in high school, my best friends, my mom knew my best friends, and they knew my mom.
It just didn't, but it didn't add up, Rain. Like,
No,
because when you listen to Warren, right?
Mhm.
Warren apparently known Nolan even longer than him.
I think elementary school. No?
Yeah, and Warren said he never even been to their house. So I don't know how you got one treatment being an elementary friend to college,
right?
And you being a freshman to, you know what I mean? So, those type of things. So
yeah. I was writing down some notes.
That's crazy, man. I know we've spoken a little bit, but that friend group that I'm a part of to this day was the first friend group I was in when I moved to Ocean Springs as a new kid coming in. I never knew any of them. I known one, kind of, sort of, back from grade school because we went to the same private school together. But that was it. And him being the only black person, minority, any of that measure is insane. Our friend group is diverse from the max. Like, we have a mixed guy. I mean, we had Nolan in our friend group. There's an Asian a part of our friend group. There's a Latino that they're trying to perceive as white. He's truly authentic Mexican. His parents are from Mexico. They came over legally and they did everything right, and he's been here since. It blows my mind because our friend group is not a friend group that sees race. Our friend group sees what good you do for other people, what good you bring, and how the type of person you truly are and where your morals lie. That's one thing in common. Me and my friends might not agree on everything, but our morals align. Our morals know. So for them to even make that narrative up really shows you have no idea what it's like down here on the coast. You have no idea how tight-knit Ocean Springs as a community is. You don't understand it. You don't see the thousands of kids in the high school football stands cheering their team on. Nobody cares what color you are. We're there to have fun and to just live. And that's how Nolan lived. That's how I live now. I'm grown up and I have more big boy stuff, but in high school, all I cared about was going to hang out with my guys. And I mean, on a personal level that leads off of it, is like, it got me in trouble with my girlfriend just because I want to be with the guys. I never once thought, man, they look at me different. Man, I'm kind of an outcast to them. No. All their moms have always welcomed me with open arms. Anytime I needed anything, I knew I could call them and their parents, and they would do anything in the world for me. So with Crump pushing this narrative, it's wrong.
Yeah,
it's completely wrong, especially about our friend group.
Yeah, I find it, you know, especially after talking to you, meeting some of the guys, that it seems like there was an agenda. But can you walk us through just your perspective from that day? You know, I don't know if did you go with them initially? Were you a part of the group that went to Horn Island?
So I wasn't, no, clear that up. No, I was not on the boat with them. Yes, I was a part of the group that was supposed to go out. So the only reason why I did not go on the boat is I got begged to go, but my uncle, we also took 12 people out on our boat, not including us two, so 14. And my uncle knows the passengers wouldn't have helped. Generally wouldn't have helped with anything. With that many people on a boat, you need a little bit of help. So my uncle was like, hey, can you just ride out with me and you can go do your thing throughout the day on the island? I don't care. I don't need you. I just need help to get out there and then pick everything up. Because I know all these people are going to be drunk and they're not going to want to do the extras that nobody sees about going out on the boat, right? And so I told Wyatt that, and oops, my bad. But I told him, I told him that, and I told him everything, which was go to plan. We were leaving a little bit earlier than them. I was going to try to have a spot saved out. And Nolan calls me at 11 o'clock. I missed his phone call. Called me twice. I missed both of them. I saw Wyatt and Nolan on the boat. They pulled right in front of our boat, and they were screaming. I turned my head and I was like, yo, there's a spot over there. Pick everything up. Because I know all these people are going to be drunk, and they're not going to want to do the extras that nobody sees about going out on the boat, right? And so I told Wyatt that, and oops, my bad. But I told him. I told him that.
Wait, oops, my bad.
That's why I
What?
said. That's why I said like you started to see like the whole thing. That's why I said like Classic was speaking about it earlier. Eventually, somebody gonna have to take the immunity. It's not gonna line up. Somebody's gonna have to take the immunity.
Somebody gonna sing like a little bird, twiddly-dee.
And I told him everything, which was go to plan. We were leaving a little bit earlier than them. I was going to try to have a spot saved out. And Nolan calls me at 11 o'clock. I missed his phone call. Called me twice. I missed both of them. I saw Wyatt and Nolan on the boat. They pulled right in front of our boat. Okay. And they were screaming. I turned my head and I was like, yo, there's a spot over there, where they end up anchoring out. I helped them set their stern anchor. From the time they showed up until now, going back to it, 20 minutes before they left, I was with them. That's who I was with. I spent all day with them, minus the morning time before they got out there. But from the time they got out there to the time they went back in, I was with them. Those are my friends, man. Those are my guys.
Yeah, I want to get a few more details.
I'm sorry about that.
I know that. Yeah, go ahead. I know that you were all over the news because there was a perceived fight. People, this is the thing that gets me, and I want to keep clarify this.
Thank you, big dog.
When I saw the video that they put out on the internet claiming that Nolan was saying, "Give me my effing phone back," the coach came out. Nolan's coach came out and said immediately he knew it wasn't Nolan's voice, and obviously it wasn't Nolan's voice because you were the one that was
me yelling,
in there yelling. You got into an altercation with somebody. What happened after that? Like, put me in your place where the fight is over. Whatever happened. Nolan is somewhere. You're somewhere. You're hanging out. And
thank you, Tor. Thank you for the jewels. Thank you.
Horn Island.
So, after the fight, I didn't stay on Horn Island much longer. So the objective. So I was really upset. So with you hearing me yelling, my uncle had told me to get on the boat and wouldn't let me back off the boat. Obviously, I was really mad and I wanted to fight. Wanted to get off. What wasn't smart, man. And so I was on the boat. I'm yelling, and shortly after that, I left the island. I left probably 30 to 45 minutes after I got into the fight. We started to pack up and left because I was so upset. As Javon mentions, that they were ready to get me back to land because I was really mad. I was genuinely really mad. But the last time I saw Nolan, I was walking to the boat. This was before the fight. It's me and my old lady. We had just got out of a.
Thank you, Brandy. Thank you for the
Nolan was
jewels.
walking
Thank y'all.
towards Wyatt's boat. I was walking in the opposite direction towards my boat. And I dabbed Nolan up. I made a slick comment about something. Actually, about the girl that he was with. I made a slick comment to him. I was joking around, and I kept going.
What did you say?
And not even 10 minutes after that is when I got into a fight. Last thing I told Nolan was, all right, buddy, I love you. See you later.
Thank you.
And I'm glad I said it. I had been under the influence a little bit, and that's probably why I did say it at the time, just, you know, getting all lovey-dovey. But I'm at peace. I said it. I'm glad I said it.
Right there, he ruined it. Right there, he ruined it. He started this whole speech out 11 minutes ago saying they're best friends. He ended right there at 11 minutes and 43 seconds saying, I told him I love him, but I think it was because I was under the influence. I was getting a little lovey-dovey. You started off, because usually that's your best friend. Some best friends say, I love you.
Yeah.
He said a lot of loves you going around. Yeah. So like I really just started watching these interviews. I'm like, man, like, yeah, one of them definitely going to talk beforehand. So
that was my last encounter with Nolan. I was telling him I love him.
Did you have any, so you leave the island, did you have any encounters or association with these phones, with the keys? Did you have any connection to any of that?
I did not. So what I know, I got my first phone call from Warren at about 9:20. I didn't answer it. I was asleep. I'd been on the boat all day. I didn't feel like going to party anymore. I went to bed. So I got my first phone call about 9:20, and I didn't wake up again until a little after 11 o'clock. And that was to my brother coming in the room being like, hey, Warren's trying to get a hold of you. You need to answer the phone. They're looking for Nolan. And I'm half awake, and I pick up the phone. And by this time, nobody had came to the house to grab anything.
Oh.
And Warren gets on the phone, and he's just like, hey, man.
Go ahead.
His first phone call from Warren was what time?
You got to know. I'm just listening.
9:20.
Thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you all. Classic, Tora, Patsy. Thank y'all. Brandy for the jewels. Thank you, Belinda. Is it Melody for the new follow as well? Go ahead.
Warren, he had a missed call from Warren at 9:20. I think he said. So then he called again later on, and he finally answered the phone around 11 something. So why wasn't the phone call? Didn't they called the police or whomever at 11 o'clock, wasn't it? So for 2 hours you searched for him without notifying authorities? Am I misinterpreting that? Yo, did I hear that right? So you look at did I hear that right, yo? I heard it right.
You right. Yeah, Tori, you right. That's what I'm saying. You right. I'm listening to you. You right. And that's why I said, like, he's hurting his own case.
They went 2 hours without notifying.
Everybody's trying to line up the phone calls, right?
Right.
So when you think about Warren said his phone calls went to the mom. That's what Warren's going with. It went to the mom. And he shows you the 2 call logs like on episode 3 or something with Tatum.
Yeah.
But now he's trying to put, well, my phone calls came from Warren. But Warren never talked about Trayshawn or whatever his name is getting calls. Like, he never talked about that. You see what I mean? So like now everybody's trying to pick and choose who did what call and who gave what. You know, that's why sometimes it's just better to be quiet if you're going to start off being quiet. Just be quiet.
Okay. Thank you, Toria.
Yeah.
Has to say yes. Mm-hmm.
Cover up.
Yeah. Okay.
Richard said that makes sense though. People don't go by the book. Shout out to Tez. Tez said the Coast Guard got called by Warren and Wyatt at 11 after they said they hadn't seen Nolan since 3. Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure I heard that right.
But he said the CTO was called at 4. That CTO called at 4. I think that's what everybody's
listening in.
That's what everybody listening in on now. That because that tow call actually has possible evidence of more going on in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But now everybody's scrambling to try to get their side covered.
Mm-hmm.
That now they're putting out more than they bargained for. So, yeah.
Okay.
My pastor used to say, a lie don't care who tell it, and you can't tell it for long. So.
Hey,
he was like, hey, have you talked to Nolan? Anything else? I was like, no, I haven't talked to him, man. He was with that girl last time I knew. And he was like, okay. He was like, man, we can't get a hold of him. We don't know where he's at. And I was like, man, it's Nolan. He's probably just out somewhere with that girl. Like, get a hold of the girl.
Thank you, Plug. Thank you, big dog.
It's no big deal. And he was like, all right. He was like, but we're starting to freak out. We're getting on the phone with Coast Guard. I was like, okay. And at that time, he had already talked to his mom, Nolan's mom. And he was getting on the phone with the Coast Guard. And I'd called. I need to be specific about this. I did not call Warren's phone. I called another one of our buddies' phone, and it was on speakerphone. And they were all together.
See, they're just trying to line up calls.
Yeah.
They just trying to line up calls. It ain't even making sense no more.
Mm-mm.
It ain't even making sense no more at this point.
I was talking on my other buddy's phone, talking to Warren. He was dialing.
Not his phone, his buddy phone.
Yeah.
Let me get this correct. Once he got nervous, he unfolded those arms. And he said, let me get this correct. He said, I got to be technical about this.
Coast Guard, because he hung up the phone and was like, hey, this is him, bye, and hung up the phone. And that was the last time I talked to him until the next morning when we all decided, well, when I woke up about 7 o'clock that morning, we had all decided that we were going to go out on a boat and go look for Nolan. Wyatt had already had his boat still in the water. We took that boat out. It was
what day are we talking?
That's Sunday morning.
Sunday morning on the 6th, the 5th?
So it was Saturday the 4th was the 4th of July. Mm-hmm. The 5th was Sunday. We were on the water from 9:45 to 11:50, 12 o'clock era, about lunchtime. Mm-hmm. While we were on the water, we talked to a rescue guy, and he told us to get off the water and said that they kind of had the island in the water under control. That's the professionals, man.
Yeah.
They told us to get on social media and find out any information we can. And by that time, we had already talked to a good amount of people out there. So it just made sense. So we went back in and we concluded our search and started to search all socials and started sharing everything we could and try to get a hold of anybody that could have talked to Nolan, that Nolan possibly would have reached out to. And that led into the night. It led all night long. I didn't sleep at all Sunday. Monday, I was up at 5 a.m. I was putting fuel in our boat at 6. I got told that we were taking out another boat to Chandelier at 7. So I put my boat back on the lift, and I went to McDonald's.
Shout out to Plug. Hey guys, don't forget, again, this is our version of a virtual town hall meeting. So we're just kind of going down a play-by-play for those who are just getting here. Myself and Rain started off with the autopsy reports, going through that with the Ben Crump, and then also went through it with Nancy Grace and another pathologist out here in Dallas, Fort Worth. And then after that, we moved on to talking about the DA. And now we're at the point where we're kind of talking about one of the interviews for those who haven't caught it. Again, shout out to Classic. Y'all see him in the chat. If y'all, he's already reviewed pretty much all of the Tatum and Warren interviews. So if y'all want to make sure y'all go there and catch it on the rewatch there, please do so. I think Tez covered it too, if I'm not mistaken, some of them. So make sure y'all go watch those individuals that are in the chat as well. Appreciate everybody new who has commented and subscribed. We really appreciate you guys. Myself and Rain cannot do this without you guys. Thank y'all for all the super chats and the jewels and things of that nature. Plug said listening, watching, and keeping hush mouth till all the facts come out. Shh. Yeah. That's why we made that statement at the beginning. That's why we kind of waited towards the end now. But we'll cover it every now and then once we get more and more information. So, but shout out to everybody. The link is in the chat for those who want to come up. We are allotting 2 minutes for people if you want to just give your spiel on how you feel about it. Again, myself and Rain are not here to judge your opinions or your thoughts on it, but we will allow you to come up, have your 2 minutes or so to say what you would like to say, and then we'll move it on to the next person if someone wants to come up. But we appreciate everybody who's here.
And then I got the news after I left McDonald's that his body was found. So it was already a plan that we were going and searching and trying to do everything we possibly can. And that's all I wanted to do. Is I wasn't there to help him out in his last minutes, but now I feel like as a friend and as one of my guys, man, I do everything in my power to help now. And that's why I have reached out to the family. I have donated to the family, and I have giving them.
Sounds like guilt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sounds like guilt.
Yeah.
So you got anything so far? Because I'm gonna kind of fast forward it a little bit once we have this open discussion. You got anything so far? Any thoughts so far? Is this your first time watching it?
Yeah, all the way through.
Okay.
I've caught bits and pieces here and there. Of course, initial thoughts. He seems closed off, like everyone's been speaking of in the chat, with his arms folded. He did fumble over a few of his facts. He did put facts out there that I haven't heard before of all of this. In my personal opinion, and I may be wrong, he may know a little bit more than what he's putting off to be. He's more than what he's making it seem. Yep, I didn't even read that.
Yeah, shout out to y'all at the same time. Shout out to you, man.
So,
Welcome in.
My prayer is for somebody to be convicted within themselves to come forward, to end the narratives, end all the suspicion, end all the conspiracies, all of that, and say, hey, this is what happened. This is why you should believe me, what I'm saying, and just end it all. Just put it out there and be done with it, and that's my hope at this current time. So.
All right. So we're gonna move it forward a little bit. Let's see, we'll move it halfway in here for you guys. If you guys haven't watched it, definitely she said donated what? I think he was trying to say he donated to the GoFundMe. That's what I'm gonna assume from it. That's what I'm gonna assume from it, or that he was saying he donated. I don't believe him at all. He talking too much. Anyone that will hear him, best friend, nope, justice for Nolan, period. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Mama in the building. What's up, Miss Deborah? Thank you, man. You up too late. I need you to go to bed. And you're welcome, ma'am. You're welcome. So we're gonna move this forward a little bit here. So here we go.
Mississippi's history per se, but it's like,
hold on.
Yes, racial. I do agree. Now, Ego ain't famous and told that she's the devil. She's just looking for the time to kill you. You need to be careful and blah blah blah. And it's like, man, if y'all want to know the story, the only people that showed up for me in my whole life has been my white side of my family. So for y'all to sit there and drag.
See what I mean? And I haven't even heard this far, but at the very beginning, I said he's filled with hate. Like it's a difference. Like that's why, like it's a big difference. Like that's someone that that's hate. That's what hate truly sounds like, right there.
Drag their name and to drag me down, and I'm supposed to be one of y'all, and you're supposed to have my back, and we're supposed to be in this together. And it's really eye-opening.
Did it shock you that it turned this way? Meaning that, you see everything happen. Nolan was your friend. From all the young men I talked to, it seemed like Nolan was the life of the party. Everybody loved Nolan. He gets along with everybody. Everybody's cool. And everybody feels like Nolan made them feel like everybody's his best friend, right? I mean, everybody felt connected to Nolan. Were you shocked that it turned like this? I mean, where this community was tight-knit, Nolan's friend group was tight. He ends up losing his life in an unfortunate situation, which nobody knows exactly what happened. Did it shock you that it turned into some racial thing?
Yes, racial, I do agree. Now, it going famous or going viral, that part didn't shock me. Thinking about it and being honest, like, that's not a surprise because everybody did love Nolan. Especially around here, everybody loved Nolan. So for people to repost that, they know Nolan. I mean, they know he did not have one hateful thing in his heart. And racism, no. That was a shock. That was a complete shock from his mom and from his stepdad. Like, that's a shock. That's an utter shock because it's like, first off, I don't know how to word this. Nolan wasn't fully black. Nolan's mixed. Nolan has a little bit of Asian in him. You don't hear that though. You don't. So to turn it as like somebody's harping down on Nolan because of the color of his skin, you don't know us. You don't know our community. It's crazy that people are just running with a lie. And it's so easy for people to believe it from the outside, looking into Mississippi's history, per se. But it's like, you're looking at history. Let's go to each state's history. I bet they're not the best with black people. Like, people change. You learn history so you don't repeat it. Everybody knows that.
What's the craziest lie that you've seen floating around there about this situation? I know there's a lot of mysterious things, but like, what to you, what's the craziest thing that you've heard somebody say about this?
That my buddy in the photo was his lover. That was wild. That's been the utmost craziest, because it's like, what? Like, where'd you get that from?
Yeah.
I mean, also the lies of just how racist Mississippi is, or how racist the coast is, and Ocean Springs. And yeah, no, you don't know this, man. Like, you have no idea. And what I thought was crazy lie from the beginning was he's the only black person on the boat. He's the only black person on the island. No, not at all.
Nobody never said that. I don't know where I don't know where people got that part from. I'd never seen one person say there was only one black person on the island. I never like those statements right there. You can't say that. You can't.
Yeah.
I never heard that.
And that Nolan was only there with 4 white friends or something like that. Tatum said that was the initial narrative that was being spewed, that Nolan was out there with just 4 white friends. No, there were hundreds of people on that island.
Like, not once. Like, where'd you get this background information from?
How many people are on that island from your vantage point?
On the 4th of July?
Yeah.
Thousands? 13 miles? Like, I mean, you're talking hundreds and hundreds of boats that are carrying minimum 4 to 8, 9 people. Like, I'm talking like on the lower end, and we're talking about smaller vessels here. Man, if I had to take a rough estimate in my area of the island that I was in, 400, 500 people easy. If I'm taking an actual estimate, about 400 to 500 people easy. In our group, in the group of, I would say, young adults that were in the group of Nolan Wells, 100, 150, 200 people.
So the idea that Nolan went out with 4 white boys and they took him to a deserted island, and he was allegedly last seen with a girl and they just abandoned him. What do you say to that?
No. From the time they left, including myself, and also when I left the island, I could have named 50 people I really trust behind the helm of a boat that Nolan knew, that he could go talk to. Even if he was left, there was tons and tons of people out there. There was 10 boats that camped out at Horn Island. I know a boat that didn't leave Horn Island until 8 o'clock that night. Nobody would have ever seen, take that back, nobody would have ever left somebody on Horn Island. That's a place of everybody loves to go and hang out. That's their peace. Nobody wants to see anybody out there, especially in the boating community. And I can speak on that, like, genuinely. I grew up in it. That's absurd. It's absurd.
So can you help me understand the fight a little better? Because I interviewed Warren, who's your friend, and he had made.
So we're gonna stop it there because the fight really don't have any significance. Because I think the fight is just another thing for them to push off anything we may hear on the call that I know me and Rain are going to try to review on a later date. I think a lot of this stuff is just once things leak, I think everybody's trying to now push a different narrative so that when you receive the information, you don't take it in the same manner. So like, again, I said, sometimes people say silent is guilt. Sometimes talking is guilt as well. You can hear it right through. He said, I'm being very objective, but what's out the public doesn't sit well. Yeah. And I think everybody tonight been on the same sentiment. Is just the Wells family, like on both sides of the token, right? From the side of Mississippi and even from the legal side, people just want answers at this point. You know what I mean? People want answers. People want answers. People understand what's going on. People already see it. They just want answers at this point. Too Tight said, "I just not convinced that his story with the story." Yeah, he just talking.
Yeah.
For somebody even to use the word famous as they're talking lets you know what they're trying to do. I haven't heard that word in years. Like he even tried to replace famous one time with going viral or whatever. Like that's what he wants to do. Welcome in True North. Said it was said that he was the only black kid with them. Y'all want it to be racism. Y'all see, okay, we love you too, man. We love you too. You came in here with the wrong energy. Definitely got to read the room, man. Definitely got to read the room. Definitely got to read the room. Yeah, you might be from Horn Island. Yep, I got you. You was out there. I got you. Lone Star said apparently he wasn't there, so why is he talking at all? That is true. That is true. And welcome in, Lone Star. I seen your first comment as well. Thank you for joining us tonight. Yeah, that is true. He said yep, that is true. Patsy said, in a different time, I would want DOJ to take over the investigation. He's full of ish and hate. He's also putting more rumors and stories out for the public. He can't be objective because he has a lot. See that? Emotional baggage. Yeah, that's what I said. Once I first heard him speak, you could tell it was very personal. Very, very personal. Very, very personal. He said, if you look closely, is it Tristan?
It's Tristan.
Tristan body language is telling on him, trying to play the act black role, and Tana want to be white MAGA so bad. Welcome in Black Warrior Spirit. Lone Star said, yes, sir. Great show. Thank you for everybody who's tuning in tonight. Don't forget, guys, we do have the link in the chat. You are welcome to come up. This is what me and Rain wanted to call like a town hall meeting. You are able to speak and say your piece. Long as you don't come up saying nothing like True North said, you should be okay. Other than that, just be respectful of everybody. Everybody has a right to their own opinion, but just be respectful about it. That's all. Too Tight said he definitely giving off clout chasing from this situation, trying to get his moment. Yeah, he got it. Trust me, Tatum ain't doing no interview for free now. These ain't free.
Now I will say this, and I've said this from the beginning, and I'm still stuck on it.
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm about to say.
All the people out there, somebody had to see something. Yeah.
Yes. He just said 400 to 500 people in my vicinity.
They said they used him to bring up Ben's name. Yeah, he brought up Wyatt too.
400 to 500 people in my vicinity. Somebody had to see something.
Welcome in. Is that y'all? I'm gonna tell y'all now. Me and Rain, when it comes to naming certain words, we apologize ahead of time. We will say some words. We might sound like Ben Crump at certain moments. We can't pronounce everything. He said, "Hey, I think the narrative of only one black guy came from people saying, how could nobody see Nolan miss?" Oh, same thing Rain just asked, when he was the only black one out there on the island. I see what you're saying.
Man, cow move.
I see what you're saying. He said he thinks a lot of the narrative came from like pretty much the false information. So yeah. So we do have one more thing for you guys tonight. Again, I appreciate all you guys taking your time out tonight. So let's see here. The next thing we're going to talk about is actually going to come from the is it Bubble Shrimp or just Mississippi? What is they call? Rain?
I'm not
it's the shrimp boat. That's what I got. Shrimp boat gives the Mississippi perspective on what they seen and heard. And then they're going to talk a little bit about why people need to say less. So he said, "Oh, they seen something, Rain. Oh, they did trust."
Oh yeah. Somebody saw something.
Trust me, y'all. Rain has asked me that for 6 days straight. Every day.
Every time we've talked
Oh,
about it.
you telling me that every day, y'all, for 6 days straight, Rain has
Yeah.
asked me that.
Yeah.
So I said the judge said she never went to the island, but Warren said she and his father went there the day after. Okay. Why is it taking so long?
They went on Little Birdie to sing.
Yes. Good live and discussion, Raw Society Coalition, Peace from Cali. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, Peace from Cali. He said hello from Ireland. Okay, Ireland. Okay.
International.
Yeah, okay. So shout out to everybody here again. If you would like to come up, this will be the last topic that we speak on tonight. But if you guys want to come up as well, we will have the lines open for a little bit if you want to come up. Tori said this is the good old boy club in Mississippi and the cover up is real. Hopefully the investigator Crump will get answers soon. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. I think what is his name we just talked about? Tristan. Tristan said it at the beginning. People don't know about Ocean Spring. We tight. He said a lot of stuff out loud that he I don't think he understood what he said.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, that they're gonna be able to decode his whole speech. So here we go, y'all. Here's gonna be the shrimp boats talking about Nolan Wells and what we saw and why rumors need to stop. So here we go.
July 4th, America's 250th birthday. A day of fun in the sun on a Mississippi barrier island turns tragic. The United Cajun Navy jumps in on the search for Nolan Wells. On this episode of Shrimp Boots, we're going to get into it.
Some boys from Louisiana, too.
There's additional flooding that's going on, and as that floodwater starts to rise, it's making little islands and pockets of people that can't be reached.
People need relief and they need it right away.
So let me stop. Welcome in AC Minton Shenanigans. I do want to let you know. So we started off talking about this today. The first autopsy, the organs were released. The organs were actually in the body. They just couldn't be used because they were already detached from the body. So there was no nothing that they could find or use the organs for, but the organs were in the body. If you get a chance to go back to the beginning, you'll see the documents of the second autopsy that Ben Crump talked from. So that's the biggest thing. And I know everybody's asking about the throat missing as well. We talked about that as well. The throat being missing is actually normal in the autopsy. Even Dr. Roger Mitchell said that as well. Again, it is form of evidence that could have possibly provided some other evidence or some other information, but it wasn't nothing out of the norm. So, but again, if you guys are just coming in, when you get a chance to catch it on the rewatch, we break it down and it's actually all in the documentation. He told a lot to know. I think as soon as we determine what time of his unaliving, we'll determine who and where to go from there. I think so too. You're the first person to say that tonight. Good stuff. Good stuff. He said new sub here. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Just to be a little selfish, Conversation with Soft Rain does have her own channel as well. So everybody who's liking on the Raw Society page, if you're not on Souls of Thought page, make sure you like Souls of Thought and Conversation with Soft Rain. And if you guys are on Raw Society, you've seen some of the squad in the chat. Uncle Plug TV is a channel you can go follow. Classic Codes and Tez from the Tez Down. So we'll try to get those in the chat for y'all. Y'all can follow all our channels. We actually make up the Raw Society Coalition. And I think you guys will get a lot of great information from everybody. Everybody will have their own style. So I think you guys will enjoy it as well. So tap in with everybody. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for the sub. Black Warrior said, no, throat structure missing and discoloration near orbital lobe is consistent with the choke out or neck trauma. Again, we did cover it. There was another pathologist that covered it as well about the decoloration and what it could be caused from as well. So again, definitely go back and check us out because we did talk about it at the very beginning. But again, I think there could be two sides to each thing as well. So definitely thank you all for coming in. I'm putting in the chat everybody's pages if you guys want to tap in there. So we're going to go ahead and play the rest of this and see what we got from here. So here we go.
And we have generous donors and we have volunteers. So Josh, July 4th, we think we have the day off, but we get a call. Young man's missing off of Horn Island, Mississippi. You eventually got in touch with the mother. Let's take it from the top.
Absolutely. So July 4th, right? And everybody's out there doing their thing. You know, I live out on the river, so I know what to expect sometimes when people party on that river. Start getting phone calls, frantic messages on social media. Help, help, help. You know, my cousin, my friend. And then, you know, I dig into it a little bit, give yourself and Todd a call, said, hey, we got a hot one. Reach out to the mother reaches out to me. And it was bad. It was, you know, your gut just drops. Yeah. So got that phone call, had some communication with mom, started asking her the tough questions, you know, and unfortunately, sometimes those questions are, they're not nice or friendly. And I told her, you know, from the beginning, hey, I'm going to ask you some stuff about your son. I just need the truth because it helps us, you know, find out what's truly going on. And it's, you know, 18 years old. Has he been drinking? Do you know if he's drinking or the previous day? And yes. But I also asked her a question that was very interesting. I asked her if he could swim. And yes, he had taken swimming lessons as a child. Yeah. Extremely athletic.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
6'1", 180 pounds, good shape, playing junior college football. You know, was in the middle of training. Matter of fact, there was some talk about how he wanted to kind of take it easy because he had a Monday morning workout he wanted to be fresh for and all that kind of stuff.
It's, you know, it's a shame. Every story that I've heard about this young man was good.
Yeah,
you know,
like
like
star.
Absolutely.
Tons of friends, tons of everybody in the community knew him. I got a lot of people I personally know from that part of the coast who had children his age. They'd known him since they were little, talked about how bubbly and kind he was. And it's like, man, to know this kid's love him, please find him. Okay, we're going to do our best.
Absolute stud on the football field.
Yeah.
You know,
quarterback in high school, wide receiver for college, right? So
played
all athlete.
D2. I think that's Division II.
Southwest, yeah.
But with some aspirations and some potential of being a D1 athlete.
Yeah,
right.
Transfer up.
Yeah. And again, you know, it's hearing these stories just about the kid, about, you know, Nolan. There was one story in particular that, you know, really said a lot about the person that he was, a good Samaritan, and really had a good heart. At one point in school, there was you know, what I like to call an exceptional child with some learning disabilities. And Nolan had everybody in the class not raise their hand. So this kid could raise his hand and answer the question. Right. So it's just a feel good thing. And it makes me learn a lot about the person and then about the crowd he hangs out with.
Right.
Doesn't take away from the mission. It actually adds to the mission. So again, got the phone call from the mother. We put action into play really, really quick. You were there.
Yeah. So
you were on the coast.
We'll just go with the timeline. Like, you know, talk about the call on 4th of July. That was Saturday night. By Sunday morning, there was kind of no new news. And we had a couple of our Mississippi chapter volunteers reach out and say, hey, I got a boat. I got a drone. We went out there. They canvassed the island. They physically went on the island, flew the drone, ran a grid with their boat, put the drone up, looking in the water, looking over land. Even went to the center of the island where they had the lagoons and stuff. They sent me pictures saying, hey, look, there's cactus, there's thorny brush. There's no way he walked over here barefoot and fell in the lagoon. And so they spent the better part of the day out there, called it quits when the weather picked up. And that's when we huddled that night and decided, hey, it's time to go to the air. So we decided to put a bird up on Monday morning, July 6th.
Yep. So we had, so it was a donated bird, actually.
Yeah. Another volunteer reached out and said, hey, I got a plane in Gulfport, happy to go fly. I'm like, yep, that's, you speaking my language. So we met up at First Light.
Wait, let's talk about this plane because I was going to go too. And it said experimental aircraft.
So
dude, I don't need that.
For those of you that don't know, experimental, the classification of experimental is either experimental or certified. Certified is the FAA designation that it's like a manufacturer that the FAA knows well, they know everything about the plane. But if you want to have worked on it, you have to have an A&P, an actual aircraft mechanic, and everything has to be logged. Experimental just means that you're allowed to work on it yourself. And a lot of times experimental planes, some people, like you hear about people buying something was found, and then we get the call, I get the call from you, traversing back and forth over towards the northeast corner of Ship Island, and we're looking at the northwest corner of Horn Island, which was the last place that Nolan was seen by an eyewitness. So we're flying for a couple hours, and we start making one of our tracks back north. Notice a couple of boats on the beach that weren't there before. We descended, we started circling. You know, we could see that there was and there was more boats coming in, like in a line, and they were obviously law enforcement boats or Coast Guard or whatever. They were official vessels, and they were starting to set up a command post on the beach. And we figured something was going on, something was found, and then we get the call. I get the call from you or the text from you that said, "Hey, they think they found them," and so we did an RTB, and then so I get back kind of flip it back over to you. You're in Ocean Springs with Nolan's mom.
So I was at the boat.
From there.
So I was at the boat.
This
launch.
is Monday mid-morning.
9 o'clock.
Yeah,
9:15.
So this is going to get very interesting because this is the first person that I know actually had contact with the Nolan family while they were searching. So very good information that they're about to provide.
Somewhere in there. So I got the call. Obviously, you know, we were coordinating with the local law enforcement, Jackson County, Mississippi Sheriff's Office, and great to work with. One of the.
So we just heard that the Jackson, Mississippi department was great to work with. So something to kind of think about, you know, of course, we know all groups have bad apples. So the DA could be a bad apple. The sheriff, the head sheriff can be a bad apple. But for the people that people are working with daily, it seemed like they wanted to really work this out.
Reasons I got the call initially from Nolan's mother, as well as some of the families, that they felt that more could be done. Right? They personally felt, and this is with every family or every person that's missing, hey, we want everything out there, and obviously we do that. That first day, that Sunday, we had 4 boats, 2 drones, multiple people on the ground. Our seaplanes were on standby as well. But after the island was clear, there was really no use for a seaplane, just based on a float plane, we'll call it, right? So yeah, I get the call from the sheriff's department, and I'm almost to the Lake Mars boat launch, where the ICP was, and I found out before the mother. They called me.
ICP, Incident Command Post.
Incident Command Post, right?
The sheriff. Everybody knows our acronym. Our RTB means return to base, by the way. I said that earlier.
We need an acronym, Joe. You put a buck in every time you use it. So I get the phone call from the sheriff. Then the mother calls me immediately after. Sheriff calls me. He calls the mom. Mom calls me. And I asked her, you know, she was obviously got the news. I asked her where she was. She was about 10 minutes out. So I'm at the ICP right there at the boat launch, literally just starting to meditate for a minute, right? Because I knew what was coming. Mother and father get there. And this is one of those stories that'll get you. Car pulls up. I see them coming. They're white Volkswagen, whatever. And mom gets out and runs to me. I mean, literally runs to me 15 yards, gives me the biggest hug ever, in tears, and collapses in my arms. It's one of those moments I won't forget. And it's a driving moment, right? From there, we literally sat on the ground, Brian. It was interesting. You know, they offered the command post, the command vehicle for us to go sit in the air conditioning. I'm on the ground. She's on the ground. She's crying. I got my arm around her. Nolan's father was there. And it was just one of those surreal moments where, you know, we're all saying a prayer, and we know that that's the beginning of some really hard times.
The worst day. Meet people in their worst day.
Absolutely. So a lot of times people ask me how I do it, right? Or how we do it as a team when we find.
So we're going to stop there. Just wanted to hear that, talk about that. Wanted to end tonight's show on the positive things about Nolan Wells, because I think a lot of times we get so caught up in covering the story that we forget about who the story is really about. Nolan Wells, regardless of what people had to say about him, he was a positive person, a great person to be around. And I think that's one of the things that really, really matter. And I think too, watching these 2 men talk, coming from Louisiana, that's my hometown in Louisiana, watching people come from different states that are willing to help, willing to support a cause, it does give you some glimpse of hope, regardless of how divided things may seem from the surface. I think there's still some decent people out there, not saying everybody, but there are some decent people out there. But I think the most important thing is to remember the positive things about Nolan Wells, right? And I would encourage everybody who's covering him to end your lives or your stories about the positive things, because that's what the mother asks all the time. And I think that's one of the things that we can at least do to provide some dignity to his name and remember the good. And, you know, the devil will get caught up. You know, they're starting to talk now, so things will come out very soon. Speaking to Mad Cow Moo, like he said, I think speaking the truth, I think a lot of people, I think fear is holding whoever back that knows the answer at this point. And I think that's going to be a big, big thing when it comes down to it. Welcome in Mr. Pilot J. He said Wyatt held him and Warren beat him. They left at Evans' house at 1 a.m. and Nolan died at 2 a.m. Wyatt's boat had Nolan's DNA on it. Wyatt's mother knows everything that happened because he told her. Mm.
Mm.
So, hey, Polly J, we'll be covering that once we hear it and once it comes out. Thank you for that information. Tori said, this is so triggering for me as a mother who lost my only son July 5th. Oh, wow. The same. Wow. Sorry about that. Again, prayers to you and your family of 2004. He was 21 and he was unalive coming home from work. Sean M. Williams. We're praying for you, and we'll keep his name in prayer. Sean M. Williams, rest in peace, young man. Rest in peace. You have a great and strong family and mother, because for her to be here in the chat today means a lot. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Williams. He said some of this may come out late this year or 2027. That's crazy, though. Thank you, Polly J. Thank you. That's crazy. No. You good. You don't got to apologize. He said, sorry for coming in without saying hello. Been up all night. Prayers. Yeah. No, you good, big dog. We appreciate your information. I will give you all the credit when it comes out that you came in. Polly J said it. So would not take your credit at all.
Yeah.
So we're gonna read some of these chats that are coming in currently. Do you got anything, Rain, at all? Y'all know Rain is a mother, so she gets real emotional as well. So that's why sometimes you'll start seeing me talk more to kind of give her a moment as she's processing over there. So I try to make sure she's good. Go ahead. I'll let you read.
Yeah, this is tough for everybody involved, especially his family. And speaking of being a mother of a biracial child, these situations that come up, unfortunately, the public has made it about race, which I wish that the public would not have done. But with that being said, just pray for all the mothers who have lost their children, and who don't know how their children passed too as well, and all mothers who have lost any child. They say it's difficult to bury your loved ones, but it's even more difficult to bury your own child that you bore, and you actually gave birth to. Tutai said, "Rain, but not cry. It's gonna be all right." Yeah, I get emotional around these things, and it's tough, because we want our children to experience the world. We want our children to have fun. We can't have that umbrella over top of them constantly. We want them to go out but the only thing that we can do is pray that they come back home. Pray that they're safe. Pray that the people around them have their best interests at heart. That will take care of them the way a mother would, essentially, But yeah, just big love going out to Christine and the Wells and Worsley family. I hope that that conviction comes with people who really know what happened and say, "Hey, I got to talk, and I have to say something now." But that's really it. Just pray for your babies every time they leave the house. Make sure you know where they're going. Make sure you know what they're doing, who they're with, the circle they keep. But yeah. And most importantly, just pray for the Wells and Worsley family tonight. Yeah.
Amen, Rain. Amen, Rain. I would tell everybody, man, I really want to say thank you to everybody who has tuned in tonight. We have had over thousands of people come in and watch tonight. And I want you guys to understand that every time you come here, you're going to get facts. We're going to try to provide you information. If you want antics or if you want certain things, that's just not Soul's point of view. That's not how I move. Rain, this is Rain. What y'all gonna get every time from Rain? We're here to just try to move the needle, even if it's 1 inch at a time. It'll move us forward. I'm not here to say that racism doesn't exist. I understand that it does. I understand that racism would never leave us. I grew up in Louisiana. I understand it. I talk about my hometown a lot lately, so I understand these things. But my biggest goal is to just talk about what's going on. Can we get more information out there, and can we get people to get the right information? Because one thing I will say, as we spoke earlier today about the autopsy, right? Giving people the right information will help them in the long run. Listening to that room go awe and be in shock and awe when they were reading those results and not knowing what was normal and what was not. That's no different than people literally walking into real life trauma. That room, when you're reading somebody autopsy report, when you're reading somebody information, or you're doing a eulogy, that stuff is all trauma that people now have to take on that day. And I think we done had enough trauma, and I think we need to be able to move more in facts. But that doesn't mean that we don't care, or that we don't see things the way you might see them. I'm just bringing another side of it here, and that's all. Black Warrior said the neck keeps coming up for a reason. That I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. He said they didn't have to spike girls' drink to get them at 18 or sling weight around. Good night, everyone. It's been a long one for me. 2 a.m. DC's 4 a.m. dropped in the water. He was dead when they called it in. Yeah. Again, we're gonna give you all the information if you keep coming back, Polly. Appreciate you for that information, and get you some rest, big dog. Mad Cow said, I feel if everyone got off of social media for a week, their life will feel a lot better, because social media fuels rage and anger, in my opinion. Definitely agree. But you can come here, man. I think you'll feel a little different leaving here. Tora said, thank you, Sally. No racism, well, and appreciate the facts. Thank you. Thank you. Bridget Brown said, I've been wondering how kids drinking and having fun would be cleaning the boat at 3 a.m. I'm missing something. I agree. There's a lot. I think there's a lot of holes in this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of holes in this. And it sounds funny, but a lot of us today, even on this stream or in the chat, we're thinking very concrete, right? Very direct. And sometimes you wonder, when you're sitting at home getting all this information, it's like, why aren't they looking at that more? Why aren't they doing that more? And those are the things that I always say, man, just because some people are on your side doesn't mean they're playing your game as well. So be aware of that as well. Bridget said, especially having docked around 7:30 p.m. Very true. Nolan is a descendant of Ida B. Wells. I heard that name before. I'm gonna have to look up on the details of that, because that's she was very powerful in the South, if I'm not mistaken, right? Empress Flows. Herbal Man said, hey, we all know why they are covering their rotten flying. Okay, racist pathological.
Yeah,
Okay,
she was in Mississippi. She was a American journalist, civil rights leader, and women's suffrage activist. Yeah.
That's what I thought. I thought she actually spoke at our church before with Pastor Harry Blake. So she came to speak at our church in Louisiana before. Underage drinking and driving a boat. Some adults need to answer some questions. Very true. Very, very true. Pilot said, why his mother knows everything. Oh man, I don't want to say that. I don't even want to read that, Pilot, because I don't want to say she was paid, man. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that, man. You have to clean a boat after being in salt water, especially being taken in that water. Welcome in. Is that Minutes or Miss
Minx
D Cutie? It's definitely enough for probable cause, period. I feel you. I feel you. I do apologize, and I apologize on the behalf of Rain too if we pronounce anybody's name wrong.
We will.
He said, I know what I know. Peace. Appreciate you, big dog. Inna Berryman said, what do you guys think when the friend said he told him he loved him as if he wasn't going to see him again or something? Yeah. And another friend said something else too. Somebody else said something else to him. I forgot which friend it was, but yeah. I'm gonna tell you who I think gonna break this case open, and it's just gonna take her some time. I think the young lady is gonna be able to break this open for us. I really do. I think Kate's gonna be able to break this open, and she's just trying to build up the courage to be able to do it. I really do. I think Kate knows. I think she's gonna have so much facts that it's gonna be just overwhelming that who done what. So I'll pray for her that she builds the courage to come out and really tell what happened, because they were quick to throw her under the bus on all their interviews. So Tori said, I always say social media is a gift and curse at the same time. It's good for everyone to take breaks. Definitely agree. Everybody welcome in Miss Virgo Beauty, new subscriber. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. For everybody who's new in the chat, make sure y'all check the threads. We have everybody that's part of the Raw Society in there as well. Mad Cow Rage comes from within. Has nothing to do with social media. Take some accountability. So you got anything, Rain, before you want to close us out, ma'am?
Just make sure y'all subscribe to all our channels. Everybody, we are part of the Raw Society Coalition. There's 5 of us. I am Soft Rain, and you have those Souls of Thought right here with me on the screen. You've seen the classic codes in the chat, the Ted's down in the chat, and Uncle Plug TV. So make sure y'all go to each one of our channels and subscribe. We bring y'all great content and live content just about 7 days a week. So yeah, y'all get more, and all of us bring something different to the table too as well. So you'll get 5 different perspectives.
For sure.
Yeah.
She said, did she already say she just met him and did not? Yeah, but I think she know more though. I really do. I think she's the bridge. And I would tell you guys to really pray for her in your spare time. I think she'll build the courage to actually come up.
Mm-hmm.
No media definitely brings rage. It's designed that way. Yeah.
All right, y'all. So as we close tonight's conversation, we want to remember that behind every report, every interview, every video, and every headline is a family still living through its story. Whether you agreed with every perspective shared tonight or not, I hope that we can all agree on one thing, that the Wells family deserves truth, clarity, and peace. As more information continues to emerge, let's remain committed to facts over speculation, respect over division, and thoughtful conversation over quick conclusions. And that's what this show is about. That's what Same Soil, Different Roots is all about. We may not stand on the same soil, but our roots shape how we see the world. And we want to thank y'all for spending your evening with us. If tonight's discussion made you think, we'd love to hear your perspective in the comments. Just remember to keep it respectful, because meaningful conversations happen when we can disagree without disrespecting one another. And make sure if you are catching this on the rewatch, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that like button, and make sure you leave your comments down in the comment section. So until next time, make sure you take care of yourselves, take care of each other as we continue to hope that the Wells family finds the answers, the peace, and the closure they deserve. From me, Soft Rain, and First Souls, good night. Y'all have a good one.
Same soil, different roots. Nolan Wells. Welcome, take a seat. Another chapter where the silence speaks. Headlines faded, but the questions stayed. Truth still walking through a heavy haze. Every document, every voice we hear brings us hope, then brings more fear. Pieces of a puzzle scattered in the rain. Everybody talking, but who can explain? Some see justice, some see pain. Some see answer, some see blame. When the evidence falls into different hands, the same story becomes different stats. This division is about profit, not truth. Everybody selling certainty before the proof. Louder voices, bigger platforms chasing every view. But a mother's tears don't disappear. disappear when the cameras do. Vision is about profit, not truth. Turning pain into a headline everyone can use, while the family waits for answers nobody can prove. Lord, don't let us lose the people while we're chasing the news. Autopsy pages tell a piece of the tale. Video surface, but the questions prevail. Friends keep talking, memories collide, searching every shoreline where the answers hide. Shrimp boat searching through the darkest tide, hope floating with every wave they try. Different voices, different points of view, but every heart still wants to know what's true. We don't gather here to choose a side, we gather because truth should never hide. Separate the facts from what we believe, hold on to what we know, question what we receive, because two people can witness the very same scene, walk away believing two completely different things. This division is about profit, not truth. The algorithms love the conflict more than they love the proof, but every click can't heal a family. Still living through the blues. So tonight we search with open minds, we leave our pride and bias behind. Same soil beneath us, different roots may grow, but may the truth be what we follow. For Nolan, for every unanswered question, for every family waiting in the silence, may truth become louder than opinion, may compassion become stronger than division, and may peace find the Wells family wherever the answers lead.
Yeah. Deep-rooted conversations, real talk, real words, real us, souls. Soft rain, no middleman between the truth. I can see it in your eyes, you got it. Pain got your heart moving cautious. Different worlds but the same kind of scars here. Different roads but somehow we still crossed it. Mad cause the world never listened right. Mad cause your truth always turned